This exercise is called 8 on a hand. As the name says, we have 8 strokes per hand. It's a very simple format. The goal is to work on the rebound stroke. As you'll notice, the stick has a very smooth, free rebounding motion, similar to dribbling a ball. We don't want to over-control the stick where there's a stopping motion at the bottom of the stroke. Every stroke flows naturally from one point to the next. For the tenors, you'll also notice that they're playing around the drums. We want to take this basic motion that you would use on one surface and apply it to different playing spots on different surfaces. This takes the degree of difficulty up a notch for the tenors, but this is the type of stuff that they encounter in all of their voiced patterns around the drums throughout the show. For uniformity's sake, the battery starts the stroke at a low position, the sticks out position. For the front ensemble, they start the sticks at an up position. Because the keyboards don't really provide any rebound, we start in the up position, play the stroke, and allow that energy in the stroke to return the mallet back to that up position. This is called a piston stroke. It's a very efficient stroke because it starts at the top, moves down, strikes the surface, and comes right back up in one fluid motion. Because the cymbal players really don't have an opportunity to work on individual hand strokes, they're working on timing right now in this exercise. They're playing downbeats and upbeats. It's important that they are able to do that because when they split parts from player to player, they're going to need to utilize those types of techniques. Pay special attention to the fact that the wrist is guiding and directing each stroke. Even though we're utilizing rebound off of the heads, it's important to know that the wrist directs each stroke. This becomes more apparent when we start to utilize different dynamic levels. When you play at a low dynamic, it's important to know that the wrist is going to drive the stroke, but it's going to be a little less energy in that stroke. But still, in order to move air through the instrument properly, it has to be wrist driven. We see this come more into play as we travel through different dynamic levels like crescendos and decrescendos. The wrist is really the key component in driving that crescendo and controlling the diminuendo. If you try to do this all with finger, you're going to run into some serious problems in controlling that sound player to player and getting uniformity through that style of musicianship. As the performers work on executing the crescendos and decrescendos, it's important that they have a visual reference. The stroke should look like it sounds. So you want to be playing evenly across those dynamic ranges, and when the students get an opportunity to view that, like looking in a mirror while they're playing or playing with a window in front of them, if they can get a visual feedback on that, they're going to be able to execute that with more efficiency, and they're going to understand how to control that and get a better feel for that. Throughout this series of exercises, you'll notice that we present them in a slow, medium, and fast format. Depending on the tempos that are required from your show, you might need to use slower tempos or even faster tempos. I would recommend that in your fundamental routine that you use a variety of tempos and that you explore all of the different variations in between.